Sean Combs, known as P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, or Diddy, was born on November 4, 1969, in Harlem, New York, a neighborhood alive with culture but plagued by poverty and crime. His early life was shaped by loss. His father, Melvin Combs, a former Air Force veteran turned drug dealer, was murdered in a botched deal when Sean was only 2. Raised by his mother, Janice, a former model and teacher's aide, and supported by his grandmother, Sean grew up in Mount Vernon, a quieter suburb north of New York City. Janice worked multiple jobs to keep her son away from Harlem's dangers, fostering in him a relentless drive and a natural flair for drawing attention. Even as a young boy, Sean had a magnetic charm, a trait that would later propel him to global fame. At Mount St. Michael Academy, a Catholic boys' school, Sean thrived both socially and athletically, leading his football team to a division championship in 1986. His childhood nickname, Puff, stemmed from his habit of huffing and puffing when upset, a moniker that stuck through the decades. After high school, he enrolled at Howard University to study business, but academia couldn't contain his ambition. He became a campus legend for throwing massive parties that drew thousands, cementing his reputation as a master promoter. By 1990, he left Howard to pursue a career in music, securing an internship at Uptown Records in New York. At Uptown, Combs's work ethic was unmatched. He quickly rose through the ranks, signing artists like Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, and helping define the sound of early 90s hip-hop and R&B. His vision, blending raw street energy with polished production, set him apart. But his relentless ambition led to clashes with Uptown's leadership, and in 1993, he was fired. Undaunted, Combs launched Bad Boy Records, a label that would reshape the music industry. He signed Christopher Wallace, known as the Notorious B.I.G., whose 1994 album, Ready to Die, became a cultural milestone, blending gritty lyricism with mainstream appeal. Bad Boy's roster grew, launching stars like Faith Evans and Mace, and Combs' knack for crafting hits made the label a powerhouse. In 1997, Combs stepped into the spotlight as an artist with No Way Out, released under the name Puff Daddy. The album, driven by the chart-topping tribute, I'll Be Missing You, for the murdered Notorious B.I.G., sold over 7 million copies and earned Combs a Grammy. His star power soared, but controversy loomed. In 1991, a charity basketball game he co-organized at City College of New York ended in a tragic stampede, killing 9 and injuring dozens. Though he faced no criminal charges, the incident left a stain on his early career, hinting at the chaos that often followed his meteoric rise. Legal battles and public scrutiny became recurring themes, foreshadowing darker chapters. Combs' ambitions stretched far beyond music. In 1998, he launched Sean John, a clothing line that fused urban style with high fashion, earning critical acclaim and a 2004 Council of Fashion Designers of America award. His partnership with Diageo to promote Ciroc vodka transformed the brand into a cultural phenomenon, netting him millions. He co-founded Revolt TV in 2013, ventured into reality TV with Making the Band, and appeared in films like Monsters Ball and Get Him to the Greek. His lavish white parties, attended by A-listers like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Leonardo DiCaprio, became synonymous with excess and exclusivity. By 2014 and 2017, Forbes named him hip-hop's richest man, with a net worth peaking at an estimated $1 billion by 2022, fueled by Ciroc, Bad Boy royalties, and real estate holdings in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York. Yet beneath the glamour, trouble brewed. Combs' personal life was a whirlwind of high-profile relationships and allegations of violence. In 1999, he was arrested after a nightclub shooting in New York involving his then protege Shine, though he was acquitted in 2001. In 2015, he faced charges for assaulting his son's football coach at UCLA, which were later dropped. These incidents, while legally resolved, fueled a narrative of volatility. His relationship with singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura, which began in 2007 when she was 19 and he was 35, would prove to be a turning point. Their on-again, off-again romance, marked by power imbalances, became a focal point of later allegations. In November 2023, Cassie filed a civil lawsuit against Combs, accusing him of a decade of physical abuse, rape, and forcing her into drug-fueled sexual encounters he called freak-offs. The suit, settled within 24 hours for an undisclosed sum, unleashed a wave of similar claims. Multiple women came forward, alleging sexual assault, coercion, and manipulation, dating back to the early 90s. By March 2024, federal agents raided Combs' lavish homes in Los Angeles and Miami, seizing evidence in a sprawling investigation into sex trafficking and extortion. The raids, captured by news helicopters, showed authorities carting away boxes and hard drives from his Holmby Hills mansion, a stark contrast to its usual opulence. On September 16, 2024, Combs was arrested in New York and indicted on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation for prostitution. Prosecutors portrayed him as a serial predator who used bad boy records, Sean John, and his network of employees and bodyguards as a criminal enterprise to exploit women. They alleged he orchestrated elaborate sexual performances, coerced victims with drugs like ketamine and threats of violence, and used blackmail to silence them. A leaked 2016 hotel surveillance video, aired by CNN, showed Combs brutally assaulting Cassie, dragging her across a hallway, an image that shattered his polished persona and shocked the public. Combs pleaded not guilty, but two judges denied him bail, citing his potential to intimidate witnesses. He was detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a grim facility far removed from his former life of luxury. His once iconic jet black hair turned gray as prison rules banned hair dye, a small but symbolic loss. His daily routine now began at 7 a.m. with a modest breakfast of cereal or toast, followed by limited time in a sparse recreation yard. He could spend up to $180 bi-weekly at the prison commissary, buying snacks like Snickers or packets of mackerel, a currency among inmates. The man who once dined at Michelin-starred restaurants now navigated a world of prepackaged meals and shared ping-pong tables. As his May 5, 2025 trial approached, the allegations grew more disturbing. Over 120 civil lawsuits emerged, some claiming assaults on minors, including a harrowing accusation that Combs drugged and raped a 10-year-old boy in a hotel room in 2005. A former Making the Band contestant, aged 17 at the time, alleged coercion into sexual acts during an audition. Capricorn Clark, a former Bad Boy executive, testified that Combs threatened her life and forced her into a plot to kill rapper Kid Cudi in 2011, tied to his volatile relationship with Cassie. Unverified videos allegedly showing Combs in compromising situations with other celebrities circulated, fueling speculation and media frenzy. The trial, which began with jury selection on May 5, 2025, at Manhattan's federal courthouse, was a spectacle. Fans, celebrities, and Combs' mother, Janice, packed the gallery. Prosecutors presented damning evidence, including testimonies from Cassie and two other women, supported by videos of Combs' alleged violence. The defense, led by attorney Mark Agnifilo, argued that Combs had reformed, citing his therapy and rehab for substance abuse. They framed his freak-offs as consensual, if unconventional, and accused the government of leaking prejudicial material, like the Cassie video, to taint the jury pool. The defense also highlighted Combs' philanthropy, including his $60 million donation to Harlem schools and his work with youth programs, to paint a fuller picture of his character. Combs' fall reverberated through the entertainment industry. His mentorship of artists like Usher and Justin Bieber came under scrutiny, with questions about what they may have witnessed at his infamous parties. Names like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and LeBron James appeared in lawsuits, though their involvement remained unproven. The empire Combs built, Bad Boy, Sean John, Ciroc, began to collapse as partners severed ties and his brand lost its shine. Forbes' 2019 estimate of his $740 million fortune, driven by Ciroc and Bad Boy royalties, no longer held as legal fees and frozen assets drained his wealth. In prison, Combs faced a harsh reality. He shared a special unit with high-profile inmates like Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced crypto mogul. The psychological toll was evident. Reports described him as withdrawn, struggling with the loss of control and status. His legal team fought tirelessly, alleging inhumane conditions at the detention center, including poor food and limited sunlight, but the courts held firm. If convicted, Combs faced a minimum of 15 years, with racketeering charges carrying the possibility of life in prison. From the gritty streets of Harlem to the glitz of Hollywood's Walk of Fame, Sean Combs had built an empire through talent, hustle, and an unrelenting need to be seen. He revolutionized hip-hop, reshaped fashion, and redefined nightlife, becoming a cultural titan. But the same drive that fueled his ascent, his obsession with power and control, sowed the seeds of his downfall. As he sat in a Brooklyn cell, awaiting a verdict that could lock him away forever, the world watched a man who once seemed untouchable face the consequences of his own excesses. His story, a blend of triumph and tragedy, served as a stark reminder of the fragility of fame and the shadows that linger behind the spotlight.